Ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, start looking left, and you will find us. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Hit the bell, hit the alerts. If you're listening anywhere, tell everybody you know. If you want to be on the show with me, go right ahead. Just hit me up somehow. And also, Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast here in our studio. Anybody can do it, clearly. Anybody can do it, including me. We're here today with an old friend. I've known you for a long, long time, Mr. Tom Smith. Here he is.
Hey, John.
Drummer.
Hey, John.
Drummer. Hey, what's going on?
Okay.
Haven't seen you in a while.
It's true.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm just trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
And in a challenging environment.
Yes.
But there's always something going on.
Yeah.
So.
What are you up to lately? So tell us what you're doing, lately that we might want to know about. Oh, I'm wearing a beautiful, so we'll talk about Pittsburgh. Tom brought me a scarf today. A Pittsburgh Pirates scarf. Yeah.
We're both big fans of the city.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So tell us what you're doing now, and then we'll tie it all in.
Okay. I'm playing currently with about 4 or 5 different bands. Bronson Rock is a rock and roll band. I've got an album coming out probably by December, I hope. It's been sent out for mastering.
Hey, that's cool. Who's in that? Anybody we know?
Probably the person you'd be most familiar with is Gary Mezzi, Buzz Gordo, from Big Bad John's.
Yep.
Main songwriter. We do a bunch of quirky covers, but
cool.
Gary wrote most of the stuff.
Nice.
Eric Bloomquist, the bass player.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's excellent. And Lou St. John, a keyboard player.
Okay.
Just us guys.
Yep.
Very fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And the songs are great.
And that's called?
Bronson Rock.
Bronson Rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with E. Bronson?
It has to do with then came Bronson. Whenever he had a problem with his motorcycle.
Oh.
Some people fix everything with either duct tape or a big hammer.
Yeah.
He would pick up a rock and so.
Oh, I see.
It's like it's like a Swiss Army knife.
Right, you can get it done. Bronson Rock's can get it done.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it. That's cool. That's cool.
Playing with the Cobalt Rhythm Kings.
Okay, yeah.
I've been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm the new guy. I've been in for about 10 or 12.
Who's all that?
Mark Zaretsky, Wendell Jones, and Greg Ben.
Okay, cool.
Mark's the founder. So.
Yeah, the dude.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool.
I play with a band called Happy Ending.
Okay.
Which is Hank Hoffman used to manage Best Video in Hamden.
Yeah.
And it's based on mostly Hank's songs.
Oh, cool.
He's been doing this for 30 or 40 years now.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, he just remastered his first album, which was from like 1983.
Wow.
And he's going to put that on CD.
Why not?
And he's got an alter ego thing called The Alex Butterfield.
Huh.
And we can talk about that a little later maybe. And that's actually two EPs worth of really Baroque psychedelic stuff.
Wow.
Which is the whole other end of the spectrum from like the Cobalt Rhythm Kings.
Yeah.
A whole different world.
Harpsichords and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Sitars and horn sections and
great.
It's like whack-a-mole. Every time you think something is done, something else will pop up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Playing with Rob Jock, singer, and little bar gigs with Rob, John Smeda, James Montez, our buddy, and Bubs Brown, John Brown.
Oh wow, yeah.
He and Rob were in the original bar together.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. So basically, it's our old band dance committee with a different bass player.
Gotcha.
And
that's cool.
The original bass player, Ben Boylan's got a great swing and blues band called Junior Krause and the Shakes.
Okay.
They play around Central Connecticut a lot. So,
cool.
So he's busy with that.
Yeah.
Summertime, I do a couple of like park and rec concert gigs with a soul band, Memphis Soul Spectacular. It's like a 7-piece horn band.
Hey.
And
that's cool.
Our long-running New Orleans party band, Dr. Yaya.
Yeah. I remember that.
And there's actually 2 versions of that band.
Oh, really?
Around. Yeah. So that's fun. A couple of gigs over the summer with Eugene Chrysler, who does a lot of Western swing and rockabilly stuff.
Yep. That's cool.
And, gosh.
Yeah. That's enough, I would think.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
Yeah. And some subbing here and there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
you're going
to need all that,
Well,
Kinda.
I think some of your guests and I agree that it would be great to have one great band and just stay there forever.
Of course.
But that's not the world we're living in, especially in Connecticut. So
Yeah.
so
I know what you mean.
it forces you to get out and challenge yourself a little bit and meet some new folks.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's cool. Yeah. So you want to take us to the beginning? I mean, I've known you for a while, but we fill in the blanks. What I don't know, I
Okay.
guess. So where did you grow up? How did it all start?
I grew up in Hamden. My dad was a drummer.
Okay,
His name was Harold Smith. He was very good.
that's cool.
And he was playing mostly in like the big band era.
Yeah.
So he would go out and play weekend gigs when I was a kid, when people went out dining and dancing.
Yeah, right.
At a steady gig
With
weekend.
your best gal or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah. With Mickey Dell at the Colonial House in Hamden,
Oh, wow.
which happened to be about a quarter of a mile from our house. It's all shopping centers now, but back then things were different,
Sure.
But he played the Connecticut Shoreline and stuff. He was mostly a New Haven guy. He used to play at the Hotel Taft when they had dances there.
Yep.
So
you could do that.
you
then.
could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of his teenage friends was Don Trenner, who ended up fabulous piano player who went out to the West Coast and had a great career out there on TV, the beginnings of music on TV.
Oh, wow.
And returned to Connecticut a few years back and led the Hartford Jazz Orchestra until he passed away a couple of years ago. But Don was a great guy. Anyway, my father played with Don when they were kids. And my dad didn't want to go on the road, so he
just made it happen.
Stayed home at a little antique shop in the garage behind the house, and those are his two passions: drumming and having this little antique shop.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it was.
That
good.
works.
Yeah, just piecing it together.
Yeah. That's cool.
So,
Any drums pass through that antique? Probably.
well, I still have my dad's set, which is a 1940 and 41 Ludwig kit.
Wow.
With
Sure.
like the 26-inch bass drum.
Wow. Yeah.
And, it moves a lot of air.
Yeah. I have a 28 at home. An
Oh.
old Ludwig. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll fill a room.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be the right room.
You
But
need to. You got to wonder. I guess it's kind of funny reverse engineer because we think that that's big.
yeah.
Being rock guys, we're 20, 22. That's where we're. And then you're like, well, no, they had to be big because there was no microphone.
Sure.
You're like, oh, that's why they were big, right?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Oh, sure.
Or maybe they were thinking coming from marching drums, which were bigger.
Probably a combination of the two, I would think.
So it was more, like you say, more moving air than punchy
Uh-huh.
or whatever. But yeah, that's funny. It's like, yeah, that's why they were big. You're playing a ballroom. You got to make it happen.
I stopped using them years
Yeah,
ago
I bet.
for
Yeah.
obvious reasons.
Yeah, put them under a glass cube.
Yeah, right. And also they have tacked heads on the bottom. You can't tune them.
Oh, right.
So like a dummy,
Imagine that.
when I was a teenager and I started going out and playing gigs, I had my dad's drum set. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, right, sure.
And you get the summer humidity and it just
Yeah.
horrible. But I did get them out of mothballs. I was in like the last incarnation of Gary.
What's the finish?
White pearl.
Yeah, probably yellow.
Yeah.
Just right.
It's exactly nickel hardware.
Yeah.
With
Whoa.
baskets for the floor toms.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
I did play him on a swing dance gig at the Hartford Town Hall, West Hartford Town Hall.
Yeah. I've done those gigs.
Big open
Yeah.
wood floors and
Yeah.
everything, and I hadn't used them in years. And
You must record with those somewhere along the line. Ever bust
I
those
would
out?
like to do that.
You should do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get them down good
Sure.
once or twice or whatever.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Your friend Jay Wiggin was the bass player on that gig. It was with one of the last versions of Gary and the Mood Swingers.
Oh, okay.
When
Yeah.
Gary was going out doing swing dances and weddings.
Yep.
And I started playing and I couldn't hear it because it was a big high stage,
Yeah, sure.
big open room. And I just leaned over to Jay and said, "Can you hear this thing?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
It's
the
all
front.
coming out the front.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
this enormous
Yeah.
thing coming off the stage.
Yeah, well, like a bass wave, the further you get,
Yeah.
the more waves you're going to catch. So,
Yep.
Yeah, when you're behind it, you go, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow anybody away, so I didn't
Right.
tune it terribly high. If you tune it higher, it'll translate better.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
That's cool.
So my dad died when I was 9, and
Oh, wow.
I thought, well, that's it. He he gave me a practice pad, which I still practice with just about every night.
Wow.
Which he made himself, I think.
Yeah.
A piece of wood and a piece of rubber.
Yeah, sure.
And he taught me a few rudiments and stuff. And I thought, well, that's the end of that. And my family said, oh, no, we got to get Tommy drumming lessons.
That's
so
cool.
They set me up with my father's drummer. It was this very stern older gentleman named Earl Sturtz.
Okay.
And Mr. Sturtz was a national rudimental drum tourney judge.
Oh.
So nothing was going to get past
Yeah, I'm
him.
saying, he's not going to take any mess.
I lasted for 2 lessons.
Oh, really?
He pulled my mother aside. My mother didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. She goes, "You're wasting your money. He's not going to do it."
No.
So he did both of us favor.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so so I next went to a guy named Russell Spang, who had a little studio on Chapel Street, New Haven.
Okay.
And he had a little studio upstairs above the original Merle's record rack.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that.
Yeah, it's going. There's just a hole in Chapel Street now where the bus stop is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It goes back a ways.
Yeah. I grew up with Merle's record rack in Wallingford. That was my spot growing up.
Yeah, they moved around a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's still one. I don't know if it's the same connected, but they're
Orange, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I was a lousy student for Mr. Spang as well, but he taught me a lot of basic dance, what were considered dance beats at the time.
Sure. And this would be like what year approximately? Pre-Beatle?
Just as the Beatles were starting to happen.
Okay.
And he, this will explain it to you. He was trying to explain to me what a rock and roll beat was.
Oh, yeah. Some music that'll never last, some garbage.
2 and 4,
Yeah.
Right. And I was having a little trouble with it.
Rock and roll beat.
Like making all my...
Which would have been just boom, bat, boom, bat, just
right.
beat.
Yeah. But if, I've been listening to, I don't know what, around the house.
But you learned foxtrot and the cha-cha. And
my parents are playing, sing along with Mitch albums and Broadway show tunes. And I'm like, I don't see the connection here, So he did me a favor too. He said, if you want to learn how to play this music, you should get some of the records.
Yeah.
So I marched right downstairs afterwards, and I got 2 45s, Day Tripper and the Batman theme.
Oh boy. So this would be 65.
Right, exactly.
Yep. Wow.
So
yeah,
I just
and then you hear Batman, you're like, there's the beat.
Right.
There it is.
Oh, sure.
I hear it.
Yeah, and it's something you already have in your head from watching TV as a kid all the time. Anyway,
you heard it and you were like, "Pow! I get it."
Yeah.
Biff,
yeah.
or whatever.
So it was still kind of a struggle, and I didn't really jump all in with rock and roll music until I was in high school. And this buddy of mine said, "Hey, man, I got some records. Why don't you come over to the house Saturday?" And he played me Axis Bold as Love.
Oh boy!
And the first 2 Doors albums.
That'll do it.
And everything just went Technicolor all of a sudden.
Right? Because it's jazz-y.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had these big gothic undertones and stuff. I went, man, this is magnificent stuff. And Jimmy, forget it.
Yeah.
It was still a lot of a mystery, but it definitely was something that I want to listen to this. And I realized there was a whole other world I was missing out on.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that stuff too. I probably tell the same stories. I had somewhat later experience, but I learned a lot. My older sister had a Doors greatest hits. I learned a lot from just trying to play what was on that record. Because like you say, then you realize you're not just playing rock beat. You're playing a bossa nova. You're playing with brushes. You're playing a waltz. You're playing in 3.
Sure.
It was like, thanks, the Doors. Like, this is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, Jen Dunn.
And Mitch Mitchell, how wrong are you going to go? There's a lot to learn there.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, there's still, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So
I kind of got the bug at that point.
Yeah. And then you started hooking up with bands, or?
I didn't think I had some friends who were really talented who were much better at this than I was.
Okay.
So we all played together. We played together a lot when we were teenagers and young adults. But these guys went off to Berkeley and music schools and were in bands and stuff. And I thought I wanted to pursue writing instead. So I did that for a long time.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
As they say, put a pin in that.
And I did that for a number of years, and it's hard to get rolling doing that. That is a tough business. I mean, if you're drumming, maybe you could get least you can go out and hustle up a bar gig, and
Yeah, you can't be a bar writer. There's no writing. There's no.
No. I mean, you'll get paid.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
You'll know pretty much whether you did a good job or not.
Right.
You get to socialize with other people.
Sure.
None of that stuff.
Yeah, as you say, yeah,
writing,
zero.
No,
Yeah,
zero.
Yeah, it's like a message in a bottle. You don't know if
You
it's
hope.
working. You don't know. Yeah.
I had a good run at the New Haven Advocate in the early 80s, though.
Okay.
I wrote mostly about music and arts. I
That's
got
cool.
To, interview a lot of my favorite musicians, which was great. Richard Thompson and Stevie Ray Vaughan, guys like that.
Wow.
Which
That's
was
cool.
good for me because I was very shy and it kind of beat it out of me. It's like, you got to go talk to these guys.
Whoa. What was the craziest? Well, I shouldn't say craziest. Why would I ask that first? What was your favorite, a good memory of interviews? Like who stands out? Well, you said Richard Thompson and Stevie Ray Vaughan. So
well, Richard was he actually it was his first solo tour after his marriage had broken up.
okay.
With
Yeah.
Linda Thompson.
Yeah.
And I couldn't bring myself to talk to him about it. So we talked about folk music and folk rock and Barry Manilow.
Oh wow.
And I got a great interview out of it.
Oh, that's funny.
But
What does he know about Barry Manilow? That's funny.
he said he's huge in England.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I never.
So that was great. But I just didn't have the ambulance chaser in me. I couldn't go there,
Yeah,
But he's a nice guy, very shy.
Oh.
And
He probably was happy. He didn't have to
yeah,
do this as the regular, the usual.
he's probably sitting there like, when is he going to do it?
Yeah.
When's the question going to
Yeah,
come?
what happened? Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could talk about Fairport Convention alone with him. That would be fine.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like there's there's
Yeah.
enough. Probably doesn't want to talk about
We're
that
going to put
either.
a little pin in that
Okay.
as well.
All right. Yeah.
I got something to talk about
Yeah.
that as well. Stevie Ray was very nice and very sweet.
Wow.
I got to interview Weird Al before it became like an international thing.
Hey, that's cool.
Dr. Demento and
Sure.
Willie Ruff, the great teacher, jazz guy, was one of the founders of the Jazz Ellington Scholarship Jazz Series at
Okay.
Yale. That is a brilliant guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still around?
I think so. I don't know that he's teaching anymore.
Okay.
But
Maybe
he was,
we can get him in here.
yeah.
wonder.
He was from Sheffield, Alabama, I think, and he may have retired back down.
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay.
But there's a great book about him and his duo partner Dwight Mitchell, the pianist, called Willie and Dwight,
Okay.
which is, if you love musician
I do.
biographies.
I do.
If you can't find a copy of it, I'll set you up with one.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's a
Yeah.
real slim
No,
book, but boy, talk about
I'm down.
giants who walk the earth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I bet.
interviewing him was a real high point.
That's cool.
So it was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as I said, it's hard to get any traction doing that.
Yeah.
It
So
was
you
hard
just
to get-
kind of.
Hard to get paid in those days as well.
Yeah. You're just writing when you can.
Mm-hmm. So
Yep.
during that time, I played. I drummed with a band called Radio Reptiles at Ron's place quite a bit.
Okay.
The punk club in New Haven. That was a blast.
Yeah. That might have been before my time. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a good little band, but it sounded kind of like Live at Leeds and Captain Beefheart duking it out in an elevator.
But where was the elevator going? Up or down? That's
That's the thing. Once you got past the initial chorus verse and chorus thing, it could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to pull it back in,
Yep.
which was fun. It was kind of like playing jazz.
As
I said, like Live at Leeds, you didn't know where that was going to go.
Right. Yeah, sure.
So after doing that for a couple of years, I got it in my head that I would move to England.
Oh, wow.
So I was there for a better part of a year, and by the time I got back, my chops were shot.
Oh, boy. When was this?
83, 84.
Oh, wow. And what'd you do over there? Did you go to play or to write or both or any or all?
I thought I was going to be able to send stuff back to the Advocate, but there had.
I see.
This was the time of like the Green CND and the cruise missile protests and all that
Sure.
stuff. Between that and the music, I thought, well, there's plenty to write about here.
I got you. So you're going to be like a correspondent or whatever.
Right, and I had friends there that I wanted to spend time with.
Whereabouts?
That time, Leicester.
Wow.
It's about an hour and change north of London.
Okay.
And it was kind of cool. This was like the Thompson twins were like top of the heap then,
Okay.
that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
which I wasn't nuts about. But there was sort of like a resurgence of the whole pub rock thing was back.
Yeah.
And there were bands like Diz and the Doormen, New Orleans kind of thing. Diz Watson, great New Orleans style piano player, and like a Cajun rock and roll band called the Ballum Alligators.
Huh.
And it was fronted by one of the front guys was Grant Watkins, who plays accordion with Bill. He's played with Bill Kirchen and Nick Lowe and those guys.
Okay.
And the drummer for both bands was this little Irish guy named Kieran O'Connor.
Okay. Of course, that was his name.
Yeah, he had the long, like ZZ Top beard.
Yeah.
He was really short, and he had this tiny drum set, 20-inch bass drum, a dented ride cymbal, a hi-hat, and a Ludwig snare drum.
Yeah.
John, he was like the drum army.
Yeah,
One of the best New Orleans-style drummers.
Wow. Had he ever even been to New Orleans? Who knows?
I don't know that he had.
Yeah, right. Imagine that. Yeah.
But when Dr. John would come over, he would specifically hire
Wow.
Kieran for those gigs.
He was the dude.
He was the dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
fabulous.
crazy.
So I spent a lot of time holding the bar up, listening to those guys.
Yeah. So you went there trying to get something different, and you got more American. You got more authentic American stuff in a way.
Also, I don't know. I was fascinated by how these guys could put such an authentic spin on it, having never logged any time doing it.
How do you think that is? Who knows?
I don't know. Well,
Something in the water.
John Cleary, the piano player.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lives in New Orleans now. He was part of that scene as well.
Okay.
He had a band called King Cleary and the Savage Mooses. And he was at Cafe 9 a few years ago, and I said, I remember you in the Savage Mooses. He said, good Lord.
Wow. So there's a thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it, I wonder, did you get lucky? Was it just in that area that you were in, or was it all of England at that time?
No, I think it was probably, there are, pockets of that stuff.
Yeah.
Not only in England, but all over Europe. Because
So you got lucky.
Yeah, and I honestly, people value that rootsy kind of stuff over there more than they do here.
Right.
They just love it.
Because it's exotic, maybe. We take it for granted. It's the age-old, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We take it for granted. It's in our backyard.
I don't want to listen to that old stuff.
Right.
Forget it.
Yeah. And then the Beatles sell it back to you, or the Stones sell it back to you.
Or even the skiffle thing before that.
Right.
Selling it,
Right.
We got to put a pin in that as well.
Yeah. We're going to run out of pins.
I know. This is going to go on and on.
Hey,
so
that's cool, though.
I got back and
Did you do any playing? Oh, you said your
none.
chops. Yeah, none. So
no. And I came back and
it's all going up here. It's all,
Kinda.
you're taking it all in.
Yeah, I ended up, I needed a place to live when I got back, and I ended up living at Cynthia Lyon's house in Cheshire. And one day she said, my friend Rob's band needs a drummer.
Okay.
You want to go audition? I went, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the gig with Dance Committee and did that with them for 5 years.
And that was Rob Jocko.
Rob, John Smeda, Jimmy, and
Sure.
And Ben.
Yeah, I got you. That's cool.
And that was a smoking little band. That was great. Great fun. These guys are still my friends. We still play together in all kinds of different permutations.
Yeah. John Smade is awesome.
Yeah.
He's so funny. When I
played with him Friday, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while. I used to play with I grew up in Wallingford.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always, like, ever since I was a little kid, I was just, the library is my scene. That's my spot. So I'm a library's pet, forever.
Sure.
And I used to see Sue there, and she was like, oh, you're a musician. Like, she figured it out, checking my books out.
Yeah.
My husband plays in a band, whatever. And then it took years before I finally started. And I'm like, you're that,
You're that guy.
Well, I didn't put it together because I didn't really know her last name.
Sure.
Or whatever. And I started playing gigs with John. And then I'm like, hey, there's the librarian lady. I'm like, oh, this is your husband. I'm like, oh, now I get it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was so funny. Yeah. She was trying to hook us up, and I didn't. Yeah, and then it took anyway. But,
well, he's retired now, and he's playing more than ever.
Right.
Sue says, I never see him.
Yeah.
He's off somewhere.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, he's terrific.
No, he's awesome. Yeah, cool. That's cool. So when was that? Was I there yet?
You and I were on a same bill. The first time I heard you play was we were on. No. Yeah. It was Dance Committee. It was a benefit for that big warehouse in New Haven that burned up. And it was at Toads. It was like 5 or 6 bands.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And so that would have been.
Because I joined in like 89, 90. I think I joined in 90. So.
Well, this would have been 80. Well, towards the first year or so I was in the band, so 85, 86.
Yeah, I was not.
Like
yeah, I was not.
You were the K-Man band at that time.
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
Because I
In
remember.
'85, I was playing with Tom Stankus and Pierce.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
all those cats.
Sure.
Like, and then K-Man came.
Well, you can probably put a better handle on what year it was then. But
Yeah.
the first time I saw you was with the K-Man band at Toad's place. And I went,
Whoa.
who's that kid with the hair? He's great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got Thompson twins hair.
Right.
Speaking of, yeah. That was then. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So we did that for till about 90 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And 92.
Moved out of Cynthia's. When did you move out of? She kicked you out because she's so
did.
mean.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did she really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, she said, time for you to go, sir. Now we're still good. Actually, I've done, the reunion gigs with the original lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I've done about half a dozen of those over the decades. The original drummer, John Baker.
Yep.
Trevor Davis mentioned him.
Yeah.
On the show.
Yeah.
John wanted to be a truck driver.
Wow.
And he did become a truck driver.
Hey,
and
man.
he's still a swinging drummer.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't want to play out.
That's wild. Yeah, they just did something. They went to Colorado or something crazy.
Yeah, one of their original fans. So they paid a whole bunch of them to go out to.
Crazy.
Yeah, and
I saw that. It's funny.
Played drums. Paul Fargeorge. Do you know Paul?
I know. I know the name. I don't know him.
What a great drummer, man.
I bet.
He played with the Helium Brothers, who were a big thing in New Haven.
Okay.
In the late 70s, early 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
And
when I started playing with Tom Stankus, way back in the 80s, he made one record, and Paul Fargeorge was the drummer, was the name. And so it's just a name to me. I don't actually know him.
Yeah, I think he lives out of state now.
Yeah.
But that's quite
Crazy.
a tale. Yeah.
Yeah. Nuts. So playing with them, that's your main thing for a while?
Till about 92,
Okay.
and that kind of ended, and I started James Montez, Bob Elliott from B. Willie.
Sure.
And the three of us started a trio called the Banditos.
Yep.
And we worked really hard at it.
Yeah.
We practiced a lot, and we played a lot of interesting places. Unfortunately, the timing was just as the club scene was crashing. But that's also the first. I think the first gig we did was also the first time we did the Dr. Yaya thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were like, we were the rhythm section of that.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, but we kept the Banditos going. We made one CD at Jim Chaplain's old house studio.
Yep.
In '95 or '6.
Sure.
And then it just '96. It became kind of impossible to keep it going between the crashing of the club scene, and everybody's commitments.
Yep.
So at that point, I started doing more sub stuff.
Yep.
And I was very disappointed by it, but in the end, it was probably good because it made me get out more and meet more people.
Yeah. Instead of just being into one thing.
Yeah, more interesting playing situations and stuff.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So I played it runs in different cycles. I had a lot of blues gigs for a couple of years, and then something else, and every once in a while something special will come along.
Yep.
Yep.
I hear you.
So I had a couple of those. I got to play with Betty Harris, the soul singer, for a couple of gigs.
Yeah.
To learn all those great Alan Toussaint songs.
Yeah. That's heavy.
And what else? I got to play with Hilton Valentine's skiffle band.
Wow. Yeah, there
was
you
a
go.
blast.
Talk about full circle.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What a nice man.
Yeah, I never met him. He lived in Wallingford, my hometown.
Right.
I never crossed paths with him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't go out and about that much. I think he's very happy. He and his wife had a very happy home life, and
hey, that's cool.
yeah, their drummer moved down south, I think. And
Okay.
I got an email asking if I would be available to do some rehearsals in case he was able to, just to keep things going, in case he was able to come back and do the gigs.
Huh.
And it ended up being a half a dozen gigs, and then went from skiffle to including Electric Animal stuff, which was a blast.
Oh wow! So there you are with the dude.
Yep.
Doing the thing.
And he would just plug in, and you go like, there he is.
Yeah.
It's
There's
that.
the sound.
It's that sound. It's him.
I know, it's so crazy.
But he was a sweetheart, and we got to go to England and play a couple of gigs.
Hey,
that was a blast.
That must have been. That's cool. Your triumphant return.
Yeah, it was a whole other part of the country, so nobody knew. It's like, where?
So they weren't like, he's back.
No. I wrote to my friends. I said, hey, I'm coming over with Hilton. And they said, where? A Color Code Social Club. And they're like, dude, that's like 4 hours away from me.
Yeah.
It's like, up near Scotland.
Yeah, right. That must have been wild.
It was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's like his home turf?
Yeah, he grew up in next town over in North Shields, which is just part of the greater Newcastle area.
Okay.
By the up by the sea.
Yeah.
So he's hometown real.
That's
hometown
cool.
Gigs in a way.
Hey.
One of them was. The other one was in a city about an hour south of there.
Okay.
But it was a great experience.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Just checking it all out.
Yep.
Fly on the wall.
And I didn't bring a drum. I brought brushes and a stand.
Whoa.
And a drum key. No, yeah, a drum key.
Yeah.
But I thought, I don't need a kit for. Oh, and spoons. I brought a pair of spoons.
Yeah, sure.
Because I had to play spoons on two numbers.
Right.
I had to learn how to play spoons
Whoa.
on my knee.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Skillful.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I decided to go shopping for a drum, and I thought this will be another adventure.
Sure.
So that was fun.
Why not?
Yeah.
What'd you find?
I found an Olympic studio snare drum, which was like a premier student level thing. And I went to leave, and I said, "Do you have a tuning key for this?" It was like $50.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, they're like hand's teeth now, because they have the slotted."
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I have an old Premier from the 60s. Yeah.
He said, "Hold on a second," and he gave me a busted screwdriver.
Yeah.
He says, "Here, this will work."
Yeah. That's funny.
We stuck it in a plastic department store bag, and off we went.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I got one of those keys if you need it. I got an old Premier 60s something. I don't know what friend of mine was getting rid of them. I don't even know. He doesn't even remember. He's like, I don't remember how I even got these. Somebody left them. And he's like, do you just take them to get them out of the house?
Sure.
And I was like, all right, here's the deal, though. I'll take them, but let me research. If they're worth stupid money, then we'll sell them. I'll sell them and give you the money or something.
Right.
But there's something that wasn't original. It wasn't all original, so I don't think that they. But yeah, it came with the weird slotted key, and I haven't been able to figure this out. The bottom, the floor tom head, it's a odd size, like
some metric thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, this is weird. I gotta.
Why do you guys do this?
Yeah. Why?
Those
Yeah,
things.
yeah. But it is cool. It's a pretty. It's like.
What color is it?
I don't know how to describe it. It's like puke. It's like every color. It's like I don't want to say red, white, and blue. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at describing exactly what the finish is, but it's like a multicolored, a blue, red.
Yeah.
Not swirl, but some kind of, I don't know. It's pretty cool though.
Somebody's bad idea.
Yeah, somebody's bad idea.
I'm sure. I know you've seen pictures of Ringo's old Premier kit. The brown.
Yeah. It's not that.
Yeah.
But it's like the snare drum is the throw off is pretty intricate. It sounds nice. See if I can find. Anyway, tell us something else while I quickly.
Well, while all this was going on, I started collecting drums because I found that if I was declaring my band income, I could write them off on my tax return.
There you go. See?
So about some years ago, my buddy, high school friend Bob Anderson,
Sure.
a good musician, a DJ on WPKN right now. Bob called me up and he says, "Hey, we've got to start a vintage drum business online."
Oh, that's right.
So
that's right.
we did that, and I've been trying to clear out our basements ever since. Call it krustytubs.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if you need anything, call me.
Yeah, definitely. What do you got? What stands out? Sorry, I am listening. I'm trying to find this.
Go ahead. Yeah, I think both of us are trying to sell drum kits right now because neither of us want to get involved in shipping them anywhere.
Oh, I got you.
And cymbals are tough too because it's such a subjective thing. People, you want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no one's going to buy one.
And if you can put up a YouTube video and hope for the best. You sold some cymbals online that way.
Yeah.
But,
what do you have cymbal-wise that stands out to you? I'm going to stop looking in a minute.
Yeah. I overbought Turkish brand cymbals, which I like very much. As a matter of fact, I use them quite a lot. They sound like the Zildjian Karope series a lot, and at a much friendlier price. But I got hooked on them because I bought an early one from Charlie Donnelly, who had the vintage drum shop in Newington. And Charlie was very good to me over the years.
Cool.
And he turned me on to this. I think it was like $100 or something.
Whoa.
It's my favorite ride cymbal. It's great.
Yeah.
Some New York guy came in and dumped it there.
Yeah, right.
And I thought it was in Istanbul, looking at the little.
Yeah.
And then one day I looked at it with a magnifying glass. I went, no, this says Turkish. It has a brand name.
Wow.
And then I started seeing them online. And
I don't know
elsewhere.
if I'm familiar with that.
They sell most of their businesses in Europe, I think.
Okay.
I think Drum Center Portsmouth or somebody around here started retailing them not too long ago.
Wow.
But this was about 10, 15 years ago.
Wow.
And I grabbed a bunch of them. Anyway, I have some.
They don't still make them?
Overbought. And
Oh,
so
I
I'm
got
trying
you.
to,
Yeah.
in the herd. And I've got some like 70s Zildjian rides, like the big
Yeah.
battleship kind of guys.
Maybe we got to talk about that.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I love cymbals. You know,
I know.
the right combo.
Yes, I
Is
do
key.
know.
Yeah, you do. You do. I got I got a mug and a pillow. There was a Ludwig, remember
Oh,
that?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
every day. I
Sure.
got that. That's in my studio, the pillow
Yep.
and the mugs on the rack.
Yeah, limited edition. You're the only kid on your block with that.
Oh, it's killer. When I was a kid, I had not Ludwig, nothing good, but Red Sparkle was like my first real kit. So
Yeah.
that's so exciting. So I guess when you were doing that, you posted something. It's like, a vintage Ludwig, like a 50. I don't know how old it was.
I know
but
what
the
that
Red
was.
Sparkle, and you made a graphic out of that.
Yeah.
It was like, we got pillows, we got mugs. I was like, I'll take a mug, I'll take a pillow. Yeah.
That was a mid-'60s Pioneer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what that was.
That's killer.
Yeah.
But to me, when I see Red Sparkle drums, I get excited.
I gotta have
'cause
that.
It reminds me of the old days.
Sure.
Yeah, it's funny. Killer. All right. I was wondering how much we could get into this. Like, what is your ultimate? What's the vintage drum kit or piece of gear that got away? Like, what's the unicorn or whatever? I don't know how to put it. Like, what are you looking for? Like, what would be the thing?
I've been really lucky. I'm not somebody that needs like a top hat and cane finish, $20,000.
Yeah.
I reached the point where I wanted to have stuff that I would use only.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that helped save me a lot of dough.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm not going to use it, maybe I'll keep it for a while for an investment, or I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
So,
So you have everything that you need, kind of.
pretty much.
Yeah, you don't have any.
I've got a 20s brass shell Ludwig, which is, it's the same shell as the Black Beauty,
Yeah.
which is great.
Killer.
I've got some really nice, I still have my father's drums.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, I played my father's snare drum for the first time in years at a gig in Hamden, backing Brian Larney, who's a great singer-songwriter from Bridgeport.
Okay.
And Brian wrote a bunch of songs that, singer-songwriter stuff, but he sort of took the 1920s ballroom jazz stuff.
Oh, nice.
Influence and
that's
sort
cool.
of meshed the two of them.
And you're like, I'm bringing that snare.
I'm bringing a calfskin head bass drum, a
Whoa.
wool beater, and I'm bringing my father's snare drum.
Nice.
And his little 10-inch
Sock symbol.
sock cymbal.
Yeah.
Right. And it sounded perfect.
Yeah. That's killer.
Yeah.
It's great.
So it's, right tool for the job.
That's
kind of
right.
thing.
Yeah. That's the way it should be. That's killer.
Outdoors, I lucked into getting a cast iron 4x14 Joe Montanari snare drum,
Whoa.
which you can hear, in Hartford from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Super loud?
Super loud, but also really sensitive.
Yeah.
You can do just about anything if you treat it properly.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's crazy.
And I've got a few really good drums made by Gary Noonan, who's a drum maker. He's based outside of London.
Okay.
And he makes really good stuff.
Nice.
Killer.
Killer.
Actually, the vintage drum thing actually led me to my last teacher, who was Dave Maddox.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Dave moved here around just before 2000, I think.
Oh, wow.
And he was playing with Mary Chapin Carpenter. He lives up on the North Shore in Massachusetts.
Right. That I knew.
And I met him at one of the Connecticut drum shows. And I'm like,
oh, I love, I love his playing.
So he just sort of went, yeah, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
So, we talked and we became friends because we were both afflicted with the vintage drum geek gene.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that about him. Yeah, that's cool.
we have a common problem that we could discuss.
Yeah,
the 12-step program and all that.
Yeah. Wow.
But he was also teaching at the time, and I was doing those Alex Butterfield things for Hank Hoffman.
Okay.
And I was really out of my depth because the stuff was with click tracks and very Baroque,
Okay.
a million parts.
Right.
And I needed some help to write studio charts out.
Yeah.
And also, so I took a couple of lessons with Dave, who was very, patient.
Nothing he can't do. Yeah.
No, and he, very matter-of-factly, gave me a good system for writing the charts out simply, which got me through that whole process,
Hey, that's
which was
cool.
great. And we just talked about tuning and fundamentals and stuff, and I can't say how helpful that's been.
Wow.
Yeah, really, really helpful.
Man.
And I mean,
So great teacher too.
he's a good guy, and he's a great musician because he started as a piano tuner, and
Wow.
yeah, he's got a lot under the hood.
Yeah.
He doesn't
So
show.
musical, just musical all around.
He's a great musician.
Yeah.
And he's also a good drummer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I remember I had well, I don't know if this is common knowledge, but I was like I had these DVDs of the old Gray Whistle Test back in the day.
Yeah.
And there's Fairport Convention, and they're kind of doing a thing with no drums. And I'm like, is that Dave Maddox playing bass? Like, he's the bass player.
Oh, yeah, I've
when he
seen
needs
that.
to be. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's one of those guys. That's cool. Killer. Yeah.
Well, I heard the Fairport Legion Leaf album when I was in college, and so I sort of yes,
Sure.
and then I became a John Martin fan, and he
Right.
turned up there,
Sure.
and then over the years he kept turning up on all of these records that I liked,
Right. Sure. There must be something to it.
and I think I heard a live album that they did, and I went, whoa, what is that?
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, I
know.
want to be that. Yeah.
But he just one of these guys that kept turning up over and over again in situations, and I've learned a lot by watching how he approaches different things, because this is a guy who can go out and play, just balls to the wall rock music, or sit there and play bass,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
a lot to be learned from that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, I would be curious to know, to figure out what I could learn. I mostly knew him at the time because I kind of went backwards, but he played on an XTC record,
I love that record.
and it's like that's one of my favorite drum records performances ever of all time.
Me too.
It just he's okay, great. Who's this guy? And I'm like, oh, that's that guy I've been hearing
It's
about.
that guy
And then I
again.
went, what a great
Yeah.
drum record that is.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
that's what I would like my drums to sound like.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So,
Dave Maddox, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never ran into him.
Oh,
I knew.
he plays a North Shore in the Boston area.
Yeah, I know a couple
frequently.
people that have had encounters, but I never. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, he plays. He does a lot of studio work with Mike Barry. He's got a little studio
Okay.
in Somerville.
Yeah.
He and Mike do a lot of work together.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah.
Living legend.
Yeah,
And
he's still working, and he gets to go home at night most of the time.
hey, when he wins.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, cool.
But he's he does well there, and he there's an annual trip over the big Fairport
Yep.
festival every summer.
Hey, that's
So
cool.
he's
That's cool.
keeping all lines open.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to run out of time.
Okay.
Is there any part of your history that you want to fill in before I start asking questions? Did we miss anything important?
I think we hit a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'll have to say one of the most fun gigs I ever had was with a lounge trio called the Electric Logs.
Okay.
And this was about 98 to 2003. And Andy Carlock, the bass player?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Andy got me in on that because their drummer had gone, Judd Williams, had gone off to tour with the Amazing Royal Crowns, I think.
Okay.
So they needed a guy, and so was Andy playing bass and theremin.
Oh, wow. At the same time?
No, but he would do like the Mary Tyler Moore theme in the middle. We would do a version of that,
Hey.
and he would do the melodies as solo.
Sure.
And Alan, the keyboard player and front singer, Alan is absolutely hysterical. I mean, he had a great Western swing band called the Spurs.
Okay.
Most recently, he went out as Roy Sludge. He had Duke Levine playing in Duke.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Alan singing truck stop songs.
Yeah.
His deep baritone.
Yeah.
Duke or one of the other A-list Boston guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And usually Jim Haggerty or one of these guys playing stand-up. And I've never laughed so hard.
Oh, really?
Man, I got to use all this funky pop music that I heard playing when I was a kid, like we do Herb Alpert covers, TV themes.
Yeah. Just anything goes.
The originals songs were in that vein, and every seventh song was a Rod Keith song.
I don't know who that is.
Rod Keith was a guy in L.A., I think, who did the music for that. Set your song to music for $25.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The Tommy Ardolino compilation.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Rod stuff is all over that.
Oh, okay. I got to get into that.
Yeah.
All right.
So
wow.
We would do a Rod Keith song in every set.
So you would send in your poetry and he would write a song to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And in that vein, we would also, we do a couple of times a night, we'd do a bad request segment. We said, bad request, yell out your bad request. Yell them out. The worse, the better.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Why
Songs
not?
that make you gag, buddy, that's our bag.
Play anything on Play anything on a theremin.
What do you think the number one bad request was?
Man,
there's so many bad songs.
Yeah, bad songs. I don't know.
Number one was Honey.
Oh, God, I hate that. That song sucks. That's a terrible song.
Yeah.
So what even... I went through a phase with that song. What's that dude's problem? I'm like, what the heck?
I don't know.
So what's the deal with that song? Did she die? Is that what this is? Like I've listened to the song and I'm like, okay, for all this specific detail, I still don't know what happens in that song.
Right. Well, if it's a dead spouse or a puppy or something, like old Shep or something, then you can relate to it.
Yeah.
But, when you leave it open.
Yeah, that song is terrible.
What was the song about cannibalism?
Timothy.
Yeah.
Remember?
We did that occasionally.
Yep, I remember that.
Not often.
Yeah, I remember that song. Yeah, those are terrible songs.
Yeah.
That's a bad one, Honey. Yeah, that song sucks.
But if you play them reasonably well in a place where alcohol is served, you can have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet. There's a theremin in Honey. You could get away with that.
I told Andy he should, print up cards explaining what a theremin was and sell them for $1 when anybody asked him. Because
yeah, right. Yeah, you pay for the gig.
People like, what is that thing?
What is that thing?
And I have a picture of him. We played a wedding.
Oh no!
For fans, and I have a snapshot of all these little kids, like about 2 feet high, clustered around him.
Yeah, and he's doing it.
It's great.
That's awesome.
But that's. I have to say that's the most fun gig I've ever played.
Sounds like fun.
I did it for about 3 years, yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Cool. So it's like NRBQ, the box, but the whole gig is the box.
Well, yeah. Cool. We're all NRBQ fans.
I've done gigs like that. I had a band for a while playing with Tom Izzo. You know Tom?
Oh, yeah.
We would do a local gig where like we literally would play anything that anyone yelled out, and we would just play until we didn't know. Every song would end at the bridge. But like we'd go, yeah, sure. And then we'd get halfway through it and go, all right, it's over. We don't know how the rest goes.
Or just
we did that.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah. And we did that all night. It was the most fun I ever had.
Yeah.
Talk about Pittsburgh before, in case we run out of time, why I'm wearing this. So what's the Pittsburgh connection?
My girlfriend Colleen was living out there.
Right.
And I started going out to visit her, and I love the city. The people are nice. The food's good.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a great place.
I love the baseball field. The PNC Park is just one of the most beautiful parks in America.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. I mean, if you look out over the outfield, the way it frames the city, it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
The beer is better than it is in New York.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it? Yeah. I'm not a beer expert, but yeah.
Well, at least it was. I mean, when they're still serving local brews at the ballpark. Anyway.
Sure.
And one of the first times I went out to visit her, we went to see. I mentioned that one of my favorite drummers lived out there, Roger Humphries, who played in Horace Silver's band on Song for My Father and all that stuff.
Right.
He's still playing.
Oh, wow.
He's older,
Crazy.
But he teaches a bit. He does a couple of jazz gigs a year.
Got to ask my uncle about that.
Yeah. But he had a club gig, a regular jam session down on the Strip.
Yeah.
So we went to this thing, and I was just, he's a nice guy, all regular folks.
Yeah.
The caliber of people that were getting up with him, I was like, man, you go to some local jam sessions, and, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But if you went, And Pittsburgh historically has been one of those towns. Like, you better know your stuff.
Turns out.
Or they're going to.
Turns out.
Yeah.
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 I didn't know that, but I know that now. But I wouldn't say half grew up in Pittsburgh, but my whole family's from there. I'm the only one born here, even my sister. So summers, Christmases, so like about 1/3 Pittsburgh growing up. So
Sure.
I know a lot about that town, but not as an adult. But yeah, it was always musical, always a musical town.
Yeah, I'm just astounded. I'm still hearing about people who are from there.
Yeah.
Art Blakey, Mary Lou Williams, all these jazz greats.
Yep. Yep.
Really, another really good book, Smoketown,
Okay.
about the cultural history of Pittsburgh from the 1930s on.
Okay, I'll have to look
Everything,
for that.
prize fighting, theater.
Billy Strayhorn, I think.
Billy Strayhorn.
Right?
Sure. It does that whole, the Strayhorn saga. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Pittsburgh. It's a cool place.
I
like it.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I haven't been everywhere, but I still, as an adult, I've been there, and I'm like, yeah, there's something about this place that I dig.
I think it's more of a sports town than a music town.
Sure.
But if you want to look back at the cultural history of the city, it's very, very deep.
Yep.
Especially in the jazz world, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then you got August Wilson.
Yep.
All his plays and stuff.
What part of town did she live in?
The Mexican War Streets up on the north side.
Okay.
It
I
just
don't know if I know.
It's like a 10-minute walk from the ballpark.
Cool.
Cool. When she moved in there, it was like all drive-by shootings and.
Oh boy.
So anyway, she and the people that she lived with then, her friends and neighbors kind of brought the neighborhood back.
Yep.
And now it's been gentrified. Nobody can afford to live there anymore.
Right.
It's like
that happens.
It's Victorian theme park.
Yep. Yeah.
It's pretty, but you can't afford to live there.
Yeah,
So go home.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, I have whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Southside's becoming just college bar central. Southside used to be
very much so. Good drum shop out there too now in McKees Rocks.
Oh, I haven't been.
Hawthorne Drum Shop. It's on the second floor of a music store.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun.
All right. Yeah, I'll get back there one of these days.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know the questions? These are just like in case we miss something.
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you ask them and then answer them?
What is my favorite food?
Yeah.
I've thought about this long and hard.
Oh boy. Okay.
Because I love to eat.
Do you really?
Yeah. I would say gumbo because it never comes out the same way twice.
Hey, see what I'm saying?
So if I was in a cell and I asked somebody to bring me gumbo, I'd never get bored.
Right. Yeah, it's personal. Yeah, it's like chili.
Yeah.
You don't know. Everybody has their different thing.
Absolutely.
Wow. So what's the best?
Oh,
got to be New Orleans, obviously. Wouldn't it be funny if it wasn't? If you're like, there's this place in Cleveland.
I think that's unlikely.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I lived in New Orleans for a little bit in the late 70s.
Hey.
Great time to be there. Professor Longhair and James Booker and all these guys were still
Imagine that.
playing. And that was a treat.
Whoa. That's crazy. Talk about your book. Right?
Yeah. Remember I told you I was having a difficult time with the newspaper business.
Sure.
I said, I'm going to make one last stab at this and do something serious.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I went off, long story, but I ended up writing a book about the murder of the police chief down there in 1891, the subsequent lynching of 11 Italians and Italian Americans for it.
Yeah.
It was the biggest mass lynching in American history.
That's right.
And I gave it to a literary agent, and it sat around for 15 years before somebody bought it.
Whoa.
So it ended up working out in the end. I got to speak to a lot of Italian-American societies and libraries and stuff.
What possessed you to tell that story?
I was kind of stumped as to what to do next. I kind of reached a dead end, and a friend of mine said, "What are you working on?" I said, "I'm thinking about writing about the antiques business."
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to read that. Why don't you write a book about New Orleans? You love the music. And,
sure.
I said, there are too many New Orleans books. He said, what are you reading for fun? And I was reading Wise Guy that Goodfellas was based on.
Sure.
He said, why don't you write a crime story about New Orleans? And I was aware of this story, and it was the most sensational thing.
Yeah. I'm
story.
kind of aware of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was 1989.
Okay.
And I didn't think anybody had written about it. I was wrong.
Right. Oh, really?
But I went in and I did the research down in the library there. I worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
And it all worked out in the end. It was in print for about 3 years.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you can find it in your local library.
Does it stand as, is it one of the definitive, did it end up being one of the definitive books of that incident? Did you Like you said, there's
It's not
somebody
for me
wrote
to say,
about
but
it.
probably.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's there.
it is there. Yeah,
That's cool.
You know, I don't make any excuses for it. You know, I think
I got to read it.
Yeah, I could say yeah.
Yeah. No, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Whatever. New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried.
So many stories.
It was sort of a political football story.
Yeah.
You know how it was told depended upon who was telling the tale over the years.
Sure.
And I couldn't figure out what had actually happened. I said, I'm going to play this straight down the middle.
Wow.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Just
tell
get the facts.
Get the facts. So
Yeah.
in that respect, yeah, it is a definitive book.
Hey, that's kind of cool. So that's your
Yeah.
contribution, like you say, to the. You're just telling the story without a.
I love New Orleans so much, and you know, I just wanted. I always wanted, you know, if you love a place, you always want to be part of get a little piece of the action.
That's right.
Part of you does.
Why not?
And I guess that was probably my deal.
Did you ever feel at any point during the book and all that you got the love back from the city in some sense?
I did.
Hey, that's cool.
I did a book talk at the I think it was the East Jefferson Italian American Society, and they partnered with the local German society.
Oh boy!
They put on this big dinner.
Yeah, sure.
And the people were so nice.
Yeah.
You know, we had a nice meal. I met, you know, everybody was, you know, I did the talk, and you know, I never forget. And part of it was, you know, telling older people who'd never heard the story, were part of the Italian American community, didn't know about it.
Right. Now we can tell the tale.
Right. And
yeah.
I met some older people who it explained some stuff to them. There was an older guy who
that's cool.
I'll never forget it, that particular dinner. He got up and he said, you know, when I was a kid, the other kids used to call me a dirty dago.
Yeah, right.
And
sure.
And it was a holdover from that whole thing.
Right.
And he says, I never understand. It used to make me so mad, and now I understand what was going on.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would have done things differently. You know, I might have annotated my sources better, but you know, you're trying to make it smaller, edit it.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. I can imagine.
And
hey, well, that's cool. You got to contribute to the history.
Yeah, I just it was a great experience.
That's
really
cool.
Satisfying.
You going to write anything else or no?
That was a lot of
one
work.
And done.
That was a lot of work. My eyes are not quite as good as they were 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's cool though.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about getting back into writing.
Hey,
you know,
why not?
just for the love of it, if nothing else.
Yeah,
it's one of those you can't really expect much back from it. You know, as a vocation, it's really hard.
Sure, everything gets harder, especially now.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Well, the economy of that and the music business have changed so much in the last 30 years. It's just
right.
These
I hear you.
Different times.
Yep. All right, we're going to run out of time. Let's blitz through this real fast.
Okay.
Desert Island albums in 30 seconds. Just a few.
Bill Evans and Tony Bennett duets.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Good Dog, Happy Man, Bill Frisell with Jim Keltner playing drums.
Ooh, I don't know that one.
Good record.
Yikes.
Axis, I never get tired of hearing.
Sure. I like that one too.
I don't know. A Richard Thompson record. Maybe Poured On Like Silver.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a great live record. I think it's two-letter words. It's a 1994 tour.
I don't know he's on the list. I'm there, but someday I'm going to go top to bottom.
Well, if you want a greatest hits album of that whole first half of his career, it's great, and the band is great. It's Richard Thompson, Danny Thompson, the great bass player.
Yep.
Pete Zorn playing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And Dave Maddox playing drums.
All right. Yeah, I gotta get on it. Yeah.
Double album.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
And the songs are fabulous.
Yeah, it's on the list. Yeah, he's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting there, but I gotta, when I get into something, I gotta go top to bottom just so I understand. You know.
We'll talk. We'll have more coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. We might be good. I don't want to run out of. I don't want to cut off anything because it's going to go on cable. So
sure.
Come back because I feel like we didn't do enough.
Oh, we can talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So we'll do this again.
Okay, cool.
Tom Smith, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. Finally, I asked you way in the beginning.
You did. Yeah,
that's good though.
And I your other guest is so great. So you don't want to talk to me.
No, man. No, this is for real. All right. Thanks for coming, Tom Smith. I'm going to press the button. There it is. All right. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland. Come over to the bridge, go through one set of lights and start looking left. Oh, man, I'm getting better at this. right, thanks a lot for listening, kids. I appreciate it. YouTube, like and subscribe, hit the bell. Listen everywhere that you can listen. Tell all your friends. If you want to come on the show, don't hesitate. Thank you, Tom Smith. Thanks for coming. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.